Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Swaffham Town Council meeting. I'm sorry we haven't got enough chairs for everybody, but I don't think we've ever had this amount of people in here before. So sorry for those that have got to stand. Fire drill. There's no fire alarm expected, but if it does go off, it'll be the real thing. So please leave by this door. Avoid the lift if you possibly can. If anybody needs any help, could they let us know? Caroline, if you're disabled or anything, you need support or anything, let us know. But otherwise, make your way outside we assemble on just over the other side of the Clyde Road for check, make sure we got everybody out. I ask Lindsay, Deputy Mayor, to read a prayer for us.
Well, I was lucky enough yesterday to go to St Peter and St Paul's Church, as we're in the period of Lent now. And for those that don't know, Lent is the period of Christian preparation for Easter. So I've pinched the prayers that they said yesterday because I thought they were quite nice. So with faith and love and union with Christ, let us offer our prayer before the throne of grace. Have mercy on your people, for whom your Son laid down his life. Bring healing and wholeness to people and nations, and have pity on those torn apart by division and war. Strengthen all those who are persecuted for your name's sake, and deliver them from evil. Look in mercy upon all who suffer, and hear those who cry out in pain and desolation. Bring comfort to the dying, and gladden their hearts with a vision of your glory. Give rest to the departed, and bring them with your saints to glory everlasting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Can we go to apologies for absence, please?
Councillor Lescott.
No, let's receive declaration of interest for all members. If there's anything on the agenda they wish to declare an interest in, Caroline.
Interest with Cerise Rise.
Right, okay.
Well, is that key interest? Pardon?
Good, you've got the finance in it.
No, I haven't financed or anything. I'm just involved.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go, Wendy.
Farm repairs.
No, it's not actually on the agenda as such.
Farm repair next month then.
Farm repairs. Say it again. Sorry, can you say again? Farm repairs, yeah.
I am for the disabled thing.
Yeah, that's not really a pecuniary interest on it. Anybody else got any declarations they would like to declare? Please. No? Okay. Receive the minutes, agree the minutes of the last ordinary meeting on the 12th of March. Then I sign them as a true record. Those that are here?
Yep.
All those in favour, please show.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
You wasn't here, okay. You're staying.
I didn't hear 5 minutes.
Right, that's agreed. Receive reports from our Norfolk County Councillor. I don't think he's here tonight. Have we had a report from the County Councillor? No. So we'll go straight to our Breckland ones then, and we'll reports from our Breckland Councillor. So who wants to go first?
You've had a report from me. I haven't got anything else to add. Perhaps only that I think I did circulate about the public space protection order, which went live this week, which is about the car meets to try and stop anything in any of our towns. But other than that, I don't have anything else to add.
Thank you.
Yep. I'd like to speak about the Terrace Rise application. I'm sure it's going to come up, and it's obviously brought a lot of people out to speak about. So obviously the situation was confused by the fact that the applicant applied for the wrong class of use. I think they originally applied for a secured premises, which obviously caused a concern. That has now been updated, so they're applying for class C3B, and this means housing up to 6 people. That's up to 6 people. That doesn't mean that in this case it's 6 people living together and receiving care. So this can include supported housing for those with disabilities. And I think this application specifically referred to children. Councillor Anscombe and myself have both emailed the planning officer responsible for this and raised a couple of issues because this is complicated by the fact that it's on a private drive. So we've both raised issues around parking and access, and also about the I understand there's a covenant on the purchase of properties, and how that works with this application. So we've got to wait to hear back from the planning case officer before we can make a more informed view about that. Case officer's currently on annual leave. But as soon as we do hear back from that, we'll be able to.
Sorry to
Hang on,
interrupt.
hold on.
I just point.
Sorry,
Am I allowed to
can't
ask?
say anything until we get to the public.
Fine,
meeting.
thank you.
So we'll wait to hear back from the case officer and hopefully get some answers to those questions.
that be?
I believe they're on annual leave for the next week or so. So
23rd of April, she comes back.
That's too late.
Thank you for that, Jake.
Objection, getting issues on the 21st.
Can I just ask that we don't do any questions till we come to the question bit at the end? Once we've heard from all our Brecon councils, then you have a chance to ask questions to the Brecon councils. Then you've got the public open a bit later on the agenda. So any other Brecon councils, which David?
Thank you, Mayor. Following on from the reports that you already have from my two colleagues, I just wanted to mention something verbally, which lightens the evening a little bit, maybe. As you well know, when the Green Britain Centre was sold, it was sold for £700,000 by Breckland, and that £700,000 was ring fenced in the Breckland accounts for sport and leisure facilities in Swaffham. Now that's been dragging on and on and on, and nothing has happened. As you well know, there's going to be a reorganisation of district, before district councils will disappear totally. And I have been pressurising the leader of Breckland Council, as I did by asking a question at last week's council meeting, to make sure that £700,000 just didn't disappear in the devolution local government reorganisation situation. I have verbal confirmation that that won't be the case. And we have had meetings with the two officers at Breckland to try and speed up the process of providing additional sports and leisure here in Swaffham. We have regular meetings now. We've got another one scheduled for, I think, the 25th of this month. Conversations have been started with the academy, the Nicholas Hammond Academy, down the road. Nothing has actually been settled in any shape, way or form. But we basically have 2 years to put this into effect. Otherwise, I am concerned that £700,000 will disappear in the reorganisation of district councils and go down that road. So I will keep the council informed of everything that comes out of the conversations, and rest assured that £700,000 will be spent in Swaffham on sports and leisure. Thank you.
Right, we've got any members got any questions for our Breckland District Councils?
David,
Yes.
are they on about building a whole new complex?
No.
Or are they like updating the
that's all.
sports centre and everything, or what are they planning?
That's all in the discussion process that we have at the moment. So I can't give you a direct answer on that.
Okay,
£700,000 won't build you a brand new
no, 100% not.
facility.
No,
That's all I can say at the moment.
right,
What, how that will develop
yeah.
the next few months, I will keep the council informed.
I've got Lindsay, then Jill, and then Caroline, then John.
Question for Judy. At the last council meeting, you said that you'd written to the agent of the White Hart pub regarding the state of the western elevation, and that to that date you had no reply. So I'm just wondering whether you've actually heard anything yet.
No, I haven't, but I have had a further meeting and conversation with Andrew Gayton, listed building. And we're going to move that further upwards and see if we can. He has also had conversations with the area manager for the agency that looks after the White Hart. But we done a sort of, I say a site visit, not on-site visit, but around the corner, obviously, when you come down to Clyde Road. That piece of the wall there is looking, it really does look awful. No, I am on a case.
Jill next.
David, can you ask me, can you tell me, the decision making for this sports facility, who's going to be involved? Is it just going to be Brackland, or will the public or any of us be involved with what sort of actually wants and needs?
I can't answer that question specifically, Jill, but what I will say is that when and if not if, when we have some concept of how that £700,000 could be spent, I will bring that personally to the council here for discussion and debate.
Thank you.
Caroline next.
Does that include maybe the possibility of a promise 40 years ago of having a swimming pool?
It doesn't fall into the same category. £700,000 is in the bank, in the account, ring fence for swapping.
Right, okay.
Got John next, then Graham.
Question for Jacob. Barnum Brew sale.
Yep.
Is presented there as a success. Bank of England does a handy thing for assessing inflation over the years. Now, that was bought for 7 million in 2006. At today's prices, that would be 12 million. So I've got a feeling your sums look a bit awry there. Can you explain what's going on? Because you're saying you've made some money there. The other point is that you had probably bought that with a public works loan, and you haven't mentioned there the interest you had to pay for that purchase. So you take all that out. Have you actually made any money out of it? What do our other district councillors feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know about public works, like, obviously it was bought quite a few years ago now.
To tell you, that was bought with money from the raised through the Industrial Development Fund of Brackland, which they had in house, so it wasn't on a loan. I was there at the time when it was bought, so
it wasn't bought with a loan. But I mean, those figures are from Brackland Council. I think an important part of it is for 19 years, it's brought in regular, reliable revenue income that has directly supported Brackland Council's services and helping to balance the budget.
Right.
Graham.
There are several people here who've got an interest in planning. Can I just ask Judy, can you confirm, please, that you actually sit on the planning committee at Brackland Council?
Yes, I can.
Right, so all these people around here, if they want to contact you, would be it, would you?
They can contact any of us three sitting here.
Yeah, but you're specifically on the planning committee, aren't you?
I am.
Good, that's it.
I want to log
That's it.
Hannah, you'll have to speak without.
No, please don't ask questions across the public, not at this stage. Right, I've got one question. If no other members have got, I was a bit disappointed when I read in the report at Brackland earlier this week that Brackland are calling for a new site switch for housing. I understand that, but they also calling for sites for renewable energy and solar panels. Now, with all the hassle we've got with solar panels going on, this council has voted to get to the solar panels. I was a little bit disappointed that Brackland were calling and trying to ask for people to put forward sites for solar panels.
It's not just Brackland, it's a government situation that is part of the call for sites.
Yeah, but it's very disappointing, I think. Anyway, that's my opinion. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, right. Before we go into the public forum, can I just make a statement that the this is not going to our planning committee until towards, what is it, about 20 something of this month. This will be going on to our planning agenda. We haven't even discussed it as a council yet. So obviously we would welcome your views, and obviously when we discuss it, we'll take them into consideration. We're only an advisory body, but you're all welcome to put your comments to Breckland or to the Breckland Council, or put them in direct to Breckland. It's up to you. But we've got 15 minutes, so I don't know who's going to speak, because if you all try and speak, we won't have enough time. So I don't know if you've got a spokesperson.
That lady there.
So, right, over to you.
Thank you. My name is Amelia Rust, and I am speaking on behalf of, I believe, everyone who is opposing the planning permission that has been put in. Paul, before I start, I am fully aware that this isn't a planning committee and we're not here to discuss planning. What we would like to do is basically two things today. Is one, we'd like to urge the town council for your support as consultees and advisory if they come to you, to bear us in mind, those who will live down on the private road and will be affected by the home. I personally don't really know what category it is, because it's changed a few times, and if you have a look at the paperwork within your free time, of course, it's quite convoluted and half of the paperwork is missing. We also are here to speak to our Breckland councillors to answer a few questions for us and to let you know what we're planning on doing. So if I first address the town council, thank you very much for having us. I understand we've taken up your entire room, and thank you for having us this evening. We are asking that you support our opposition against the residents, or the change in occupancy from a residential home to a 3CB or potentially another category. There are multiple reasons why we're asking for this, and they are based on the material planning for the negative effects on the community. The noise disturbance, this is looking like it's going to be a 24-hour facility with staff in on an early evening and a late shift. None of that has been documented as to what time, how many people are going to be there, and if it's going to be a waking facility. The house has several borders onto it, which are all residential homes that people live in. We're not business owners who are up at 3 a.m. like this home is going to be. It is down a private road. The private road, there are 3 other houses who have ownership of that road. There's a whole host of issues that come with that. The fact that it's not built properly, that there isn't enough parking space. And if for any reason, if there's blue sky thinking and everything, he's got all the parking spaces, if there is an issue and there's staff handover, they're going to park in front of our home, down our street, and block us from getting to work and affect everyone. Because let's face it, if we start the mood in the day in a bad mood, you take it with you. We also have the fact that it does overlook a lot of properties. If you've ever been around the Ceres Rise estate, it's quite uneven. So some houses, and the house in question actually sits slightly higher than the house at the back. So a little bit sort of further back, so it can look into neighbouring gardens as well. So we do ask that when it comes to you to give your advice and consult on it, that you support us in opposing this planning permission. The next step is we are going to speak to our Breckland Council.
Can I just say before you go on?
Of course.
The planning committee will look at this. If you've got anything, if you can let us have all your thoughts on it, we will consider them. We can't decide and say we're definitely voting against it, or because it be shown as predetermination. So it's wrong. We can't do that. But if you let us know, have a list of when we come to our planning meeting, I'm sure all your objections will be considered by the town council when we meet at the same time.
I can send it either, if there's a specific place, I'm happy to send over a list, and also the material planning objections that we have, not just
if you send it to emotions as well, obviously. But if you let us have a copy of your objections, we take them in.
So the planning application came into us at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We've straight away asked for an extension. which I think they will give us. Our next planning meeting is the 29th of April, but if they won't give us an extension, then we will bring that forward and have an extraordinary meeting as well.
We also asked that to take into consideration that it could be in the evening as opposed to during the day. If that's a lot of us work or are busy during the day, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Why not?
No,
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, absolutely. And your point first. So I'll move on to the Brookland councillors. We are intending to write to you to ask you that if you think that the delegated officer is going to vote in favour of it, to put it in front of a planning committee. And my question actually goes back to Jacob, what you said earlier, that the delegated officer isn't back until the 23rd or 26th we've had on emails.
23rd.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have to have everything in by the 20th of April.
that's
How
what
does that
I've asked for an
fare?
extension.
How is that? How are we going to go about this? Because we obviously don't want to be put in a position where just because somebody is on holiday, all of our homes are affected by it.
Yeah.
And can I ask what you will do about that?
So as I said, when I spoke before, both Councillor Anscombe and myself have emailed, not just the case officer, but colleagues, with questions. So I know Councillor Anscombe's asked about the covenant on, residential only use of the properties. If I just find the questions I sent, so I then email asking how many staff vehicles they anticipate would be on the premises at a single time, how much traffic vehicles they anticipate from visitors such as visiting professionals, when vehicle movements and shift changeovers might happen. I also raised, because I think on the application they've put that there's 6 car parking spaces.
Completely full. Yeah.
I think could be challenged. There's 2 spaces. There's space in front of the house, but that is the private drive.
It's a turning circle. It's not actually a private drive. Where he's currently parking, if ever anyone has been down there, at the bottom of the road,
Yeah,
you might see his silver Audi. That is actually a turning circle. And I guess we would like to raise the fact that one of our neighbours is using a turning circle as a car park and causes danger onto our road because vehicles have to burst out. But yes, that isn't his land. It is his land to maintain, but it's
that is something we've raised as well. I mean, a quick glance at the dates, because we obviously have the power to call in an application and ask for it to be seen by the planning committee. My quick glance at the dates look like we would still have time to do that once the case officer comes back. I'm happy to check again, and if necessary, I'll email planning and ask if it can be looked at before the case officer's back. Obviously, I don't know what the outcome would be of that. And then once we've got the information, once we've got the answers to those questions, I think then we would be able to make an informed decision on a potential calling. But I would reserve judgment on that until we've got all the information that we've asked for.
I disagree. It's a private road of a residential home.
It's a drive.
And it's a private drive, in fairness, but
Can you give me the address, please?
yeah, so the address of the house which is in question is 30 Vesta Close.
30 Vesta,
Yeah, VESTA Close.
all right?
And I think as well on the planning application here, it's supplied his plot 161 on the Ceres Road. Oh, sorry, I'm 161, he's 164.
Okay.
But you can see from that how close we are.
Yeah.
And it is just a single track driveway that's not built for, not fit for purpose.
Hang on, Graham. Can I just let him finish on the Bregland question?
Sorry.
Have you got anything else you want to ask first?
I don't, can Anne ask a quick question?
Ask a quick
Yes.
question to
Yeah.
Councillor Anscombe. Could you confirm that the objections that were lodged on the planning portal before it was changed from C2A to C3B will still stand, or do they have to be resubmitted?
Not as far as I know. I'm not an expert on the admin and how they do the portal, but as far as I'm concerned, the objections have gone in for that application. The actual C3B and the C2A, that was an admin error from the agent putting in the application, but The actual overall application is still the same number. That hasn't changed.
Yeah, but interestingly, I received an email, which I think a lot of other people did, advising us of the change from C2A to C3B. And it said at the bottom, click here to view the revised application form, which I did, and it's exactly the same as the original one.
I know, it's the same thing.
I've done 2A.
I think it's because C2B is not on the application.
No, it isn't.
That's why.
No, it isn't.
C2A is on there, but C3B is not
Yeah,
on there.
exactly, 'cause I looked at it
So is that the
myself.
wrong form then? or-
I got the application up, it was this afternoon. And well, first of all, there was a number of public comments on there. So I would agree that comments don't have to be resubmitted.
Okay, thank
Happy
you.
to double check that.
Thank you.
And there had been the email from the applicant agreeing to change the class of use on the application that had been added to the planning portal as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I didn't see whether the application form itself had been updated.
No, it hasn't.
But the screenshot of the email where the applicant agreed to the change of the
Yeah.
class had been added to it.
Okay, thank you.
The actual number was on the list, as I think.
No, it's not. It's not. It goes from
not on
three,
the
from 2 to 4.
I've spoken, I've been to site and I've spoken to and emailed one or two of you here tonight. I don't know you because I've only emailed you. And I have said to those that I've been communicating with, that whilst, you know, you can say your piece tonight and all the rest of it, it is important that you do get your comments on the planning portal.
We are aware. We just would also like to get to the council that we've got this.
I've got no internet, so I can't do it.
No, it's terrible. It doesn't work.
This morning,
But I tried 3 times today. I tried 3 times yesterday. I even lodged a note to say it's not working.
okay, well, we'll follow that up tomorrow.
Councillor Judy, can I ask you a question? How hard is it to change from a 3CB or C3B? Oh, it's confusing now. To a C2A?
How hard is it?
Yeah, would we, once he's got that,
Would you then?
we
No,
know
that was just a mistake.
I'm not asking that question, sorry. I'm asking how hard it would be to change once he has the C3B status. How hard is it to change from C3B status to CA status?
That is
I
blank.
can't answer that question. I
Have to be a new
Have to be a
application.
New application, thank you.
Yeah.
Application, yeah. Any more members of the public want to say? I've got a couple of councillors who want to say something, but
Yes.
yes, please.
I would first of all like to summarise this very easily for everyone to comprehend, some of which will be repeating what the lady said, but it will be a quick summary. First of all, I must say that the change of category makes no difference. The location is not suitable. Totally not suitable. The following reasons: there's no independent access to the property. The sole access is via a single track drive belonging to 3 other people. Passage is on a private restricted basis. Traffic increase will permanently wear the surface as it is constructed for light vehicles. Increases in deliveries and waste collection would severely impact the damage potential. Driveway size and construction would restrict the ability for emergency vehicles. The property in question is parking for 2 cars only. The tarmac frontage to the house is a turning bay for other residents and their guests. Insufficient parking for care staff and other personnel and residents. Property is not secure and has insufficient street lighting. Increases of such are disallowed because of the nature conservation rules in place. The proposed change of use of this property would severely reduce the quality of life for adjoining and surrounding residents because of increased noise levels, increased traffic on a 24-hour basis, personal security concerns, serious medical conditions of several elderly residents in adjoining properties, and increases in stress levels could lead to illness, even hospitalisation or death because of this increase. Privacy will be significantly compromised because of children, staff members, constant deliveries and other increased distribution measures which would have to be put in place. Item E will affect the privacy of individuals enormously because there are no enclosures or barriers to prevent the children and staff from entering neighbouring properties. This in itself will potentially increase noise, security an annoyance. And finally, it must be stated that the change of use is in direct contravention of the covenants which have to be agreed to and signed by all parties involved in the purchase of their properties on this development.
Thank you for that. Obviously, we can't sort of take any, but if you could let us out
If you'd
your.
like to summarize it,
Sorry?
if you'd like to keep.
Yes, you let us out. I'm sure we will raise all them points when it comes to our planning meeting. Obviously, we're only advisory as
Yeah,
said
I
before.
accept.
But I hope you've sent all that into Bregland.
No, we haven't.
But
Haven't done that yet because we wanted
as
to.
soon as you can get it,
See
Bregland, they will have to take notes of any comments.
Yeah. But the lady from Breckland has heard it.
Yeah,
firsthand.
yeah, I'm sure. Anybody else? I'll just give one more because one more quick one.
Very quick one. Can I just confirm what the lady over there said? The website is terribly unreliable. Sometimes you can get in, sometimes you can't. It's really, really difficult to access it. There seems to be a lot of problems with it. And people have contacted Breckland to say there's a problem and they've been told to send their objections in via email. Will those email objections be uploaded to the portal? Because I've spoken to lots and lots of people who've told me they have put their objection in, and yet there were 5 up to the 3rd of April. 1 was added on the 7th. And as I say, lots and lots of people. My husband did his yesterday. That hasn't appeared on the portal. I don't know how long it takes, but when I did mine, it was fairly quick. But I'm concerned that so many people have told me they put an objection in and we can't see it. I mean, I assume that we're entitled to see how many objections there've been lodged and to read them. Yes. Yeah, you are.
Sorry, just to add on to that, I live 2 doors up from the property and I've not been able to get my objection in since the 1st of April when the letter went out. Not been able to get on site.
Do we have sort of one person or 2 people that are sort of representing all of you? If we could just liaise.
I mean, they copy me in and then I can say to Breckland, these have been emailed in and we've got a record of them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if several of you have emailed me already. I mean, our addresses are on.
We copy Judy in and then we have that list of objections. So when it comes to say.
Primarily. But
Yes, I mean, I have tried to.
really would be effective.
I have tried to find out how many objections have been raised. Can I just say, it's impossible to speak to anyone on the phone. They don't answer emails.
No.
And I filled an online form in and I had an email back saying, we will call you we'll try to call you by the 24th of April
Well, if you,
to answer a simple question.
have you all got our town council email address?
Well, we can find it online.
It's online, yeah. So if you want to email into our clerk, Helen,
Copy anything.
Helen,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Copy anything into either reception or town clerk and we will make sure we've got those list of emails.
I'm going to come to, I
And
think
then when
it's
it
the
comes
public
to
one,
it,
Graham.
say, no,
Got 2 or 3 people want to speak.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Helen.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. And I'm sure we'll listen to you. And there is a public spot on our planning, but we'd rather you come, 2 or 3 people come and put the points through rather than come mob handed. Sorry, that's the only way I put it, is if you all come, it gets a bit confusing. But if you've got 1 or 2 people that can come and put your points forward at our planning meeting as well, that is allowed. We have a 15-minute public the planning meeting as well, which is on the 20, what's it?
29th of April.
29.
So email anything.
So that's the town council.
South Council one, yeah.
Discussion.
Then we will
Yeah.
discuss our, if we got any objections or what way we want to, whether you object to it or not. Just quick, one more, and then that's it.
Just say, we've not come mob-handed.
No, sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah, I appreciate what you, that was a bad word to use. It wasn't, I apologise for that. It wasn't really,
So strong.
yeah.
Paul,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it in that way.
Paul, I just want to ask the people.
I've got 3 people,
No,
Graham,
okay,
that want to
well,
speak.
before they go, 2 seconds. If councillors want to visit the site and meet with people affected, can somebody email me, for example, of how we do that?
Yeah.
And we send it to you now. And can I also ensure that if you do contact the town council, that all the councillors are copied in with it immediately, please?
No, I think it'd be best to let the clerk email that out after.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just saying, if the town hall gets an email, I want a copy of it.
We would urge the planning committee to go for a site visit, actually, so you get.
We can decide on that.
We would urge it.
Okay, I'm going to drive to a close there. The public bit. I've got, sorry, just a quick one because we're well over our time and I shouldn't be doing this.
I fully understand that, Paul.
Can we have silence, please?
Question the days of celebration. So if it's okay with you, I'd bring my points to the table when we're discussing the video.
No, you need to do it now.
You need to do it now?
Yeah, that's the next bit is you're still in the public session, so you need to do any other thing. Caroline's got a question on.
Yeah, I'll do I've got three councillors who want to speak, then I'll open up if anybody's got anything on any other subject. Okay.
Just to Breckland, I believe that when there's a turning point put in, it's usually so as well, was that emergency vehicles can turn around in that spot.
Yeah.
So no parking can ever be put there because it affects the emergencies.
Exactly.
Can I just make a point there? This guy who is living at that house parks his car in the entrance to that turning circle and he's preventing emergency vehicles getting in or even any of the residents and guests from turning in it. So he's already.
That would be under county council highways or the police.
Planning enforcement.
Planning enforcement.
There is a precedent. He's trying to set the disadvantage and it's not.
We haven't got any powers over that at all,
Yeah.
but obviously if you
raise
make
some
a complaint,
emergency
then
engines,
look at it.
they can't get in. They couldn't get in at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Judy,
Just to come back on that, because on another issue on this estate, with another resident, that I've been dealing with the parking situation with people parking out on curbs. The police have been doing sweeps this week and have spoken to various, people who have parked up on the curb because of a situation where contractors couldn't actually get into.
It's the contractors that are parking there. Every day. That's the God's truth. It's the contractors parking on those
Yeah.
every single day.
Okay, there has been cones put round some of the area, but the police are aware of the situation with cars parking on the pavements.
It's planning. We have that to the end and it's close. They've been there during the week.
So I've just got Ryan wanting to say something on this subject and then I'm going to give it a few more minutes for any other topic that anybody wants to raise.
I sit on the planning committee here in Scotland. And I'll make it my business to be at 30 Victor Bruce tomorrow to see exactly how the site layout is. And so that I'm fully informed before we have our meeting on the 20th.
Know what time you might. Thank you.
Graham, are you in going as well? Because I've been the one who's in contact with.
You should make your own arrangements.
I think the thing to do, Graham, I think the thing to do with for us as a planning committee to arrange a site visit where we can go down at a certain time and a certain day and all go at the same time.
Agree with that.
On planning.
Yeah.
On planning together. Yep.
Plan site visit.
Yep.
I think we can arrange
Just
that.
ask the other gentleman. It's a huge issue anyway, so we
Yeah.
don't need any further.
Well, I'll I'll go whatever the
Yeah,
mayor said.
anyway.
we'll do.
That's it. Right, so
But there will be a
let's-
bit of-
I'll give it another few minutes so the public, if anybody's got any other subject they would like to raise, the lady there. Can you say your name, please?
Jen Mander. So I see the council have got later on, they're discussing the celebration.
Can we have one meeting at a time, please?
Yeah, so they're discussing the celebrations and you've put out the pageant masters guide. And part of that one, I think it's page 4, there's a paragraph that says about street parties. Now, I've spoken to numerous people throughout the town and they're asking about a street party and if the town council would be willing to put one together. I know that the town council probably have a remit on that and wants to discuss something else. However, there is a consortium of sorts of local people and local businesses, including the Forties shop and other businesses in town that are willing to put together a street party in Marketplace if the town council are willing to support it. And that is something that I want to bring to the table for the discussion.
I think you should right with that.
No. No.
Well, I think we'll seriously look at it.
Yeah. I've made several inquiries. I've got several very solid confirmations on, you know, bringing Forties memorabilia and entertainment and everything to the square. It's just whether the town council can support it.
I think it's a very good idea, and I think we would support it, but it needs to be a formal.
Yep, yeah, and I'm willing to do that, but I'm willing to sit down with a working committee or whatever to organise it. 100%.
If you would write that into the clerk, we will then get it on an agenda somewhere along the line.
Hang on, we are on time on that, aren't we, Paul? We haven't got a big day.
We've got several things organised already, so it's coming. It's later on the agenda as well.
Fine. I know, but like for that to be organised or something, we're time.
You weren't talking about VE Day, were you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I missed that. So, sure we can liaise anyway on that.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any other topics they wish to raise?
I don't wish to raise anything else, but if you would like to us to all leave so you can get on with your meeting as well.
Well, if you wish to go, you're more than welcome to be. You're more than welcome to. You want to be here for the boring bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having our conversation.
Yeah.
Good, very good.
Did you come?
Hello, darling. I live on the outside. You're not rich for me.
I had a house near me. I lived over the line.
What I was going to say is, I only went on Facebook the other day.
I'll get let's carry on, or we'll be here till midnight.
You get together, won't it?
Be involved, don't worry. There's too much body.
Right, well, they're going back in session. Right, we're now going back into session to carry on the meeting. Those that are interested.
Yes. Let's go, Paul.
Let's go for it.
Yep. That was a long.
I'm going to jump backwards because we haven't actually got a report from the police, but me and Lindsay went to the staff meeting last night, and Lindsay's made a little bit of a report, so we'll do that under the heading of the police.
So these, the snap meetings.
Excuse us, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Lindsay, over to you.
Right, so the snap meetings are held by Norfolk Constabulary every quarter, and for those who don't know, SNAP means Safer Neighbourhood Action Panel Meeting. So it's coordinated by Norfolk Constabulary, and it's held within villages on rotation within the Breckland North district, which is the one that we sit in, with main town and the surrounding villages form Breckland North. There was last year we actually determined local priorities that were then actioned by the police team. But they've actually got a new way of dealing with things now. There's a new SNAP process where local priorities are fed in to a regional hub. And then regional priorities are made and then fed back into the local areas. Now, we thought that that probably was unnecessary bureaucracy, but actually it works quite well because it means that funding and more funding and more staffing is allocated, as a lot of the problems within the locations are the same. They're actually the same problems throughout the area. So the current priorities for this area is rural crime, and that involves farms, hair coursing, things like that, agricultural burglary, and also residential burglary. There was something called Shop Watch, which I believe was started in Swaffham some time ago, and it's incredibly successful to deal with shoplifting. And it's now been rolled out in Dereham and also in Watford. So that's a big thing for Swaffham. And it relies very much on CCTV information being passed on to the police. So that they're the main items that we actually discussed. There's been an increase in rogue traders in residential areas, people knocking on the doors opportunistically and burglars and things like that. There was a specific comment about Swaffham Market because I believe there was a spate of burglaries and a lot of thieving on the market. And the police officer said if that happens in the future, could the traders liaise directly with the police? Because I don't think some of those have been reported officially, and they can't deal with them unless they're reported. And also, the Brecon Police Cadet, which is Fiona Greeley, she asked if anybody's got any community events or anything that need the cadets to support phone to get in contact with them. So that's it.
Thanks for that. Any questions on that at all? No, I did mention at that meeting about where we had a couple of near knocks down in the Cornwall.
I know.
About that, so they're going to keep an eye on that when they're in the area. They will come and look at that, and I think they will morally support us for getting the closure of that area in the future.
Can I just ask Lindsay a question, please? You say about CCTV and then the police take action. My experience of CCTV and the police taking action is basically non-existent. We had this on Theatre Street when they used to have the parties and the raging cars tearing about. And I said, you've got a CCTV camera there, why did you know?
I think they are being used effectively now. It's not just the CCTV, there's a variety of different measures that they use in combination with CCTV. I think they actually have to alter the position somewhat.
I think the cameras are a lot better quality than what they were.
They said they won't monitor you. Only if there's a request to look at them, then they will look at them.
Yeah.
They don't actually monitor them live.
No. But the incident has to be reported as well. That's the important thing.
4.3, when was the last time the police put a report in or turned up to a meeting?
Yes, I think it's a thing of the past. I don't think it's something that I don't think we're ever going to see again.
Or can't someone go down there and have a word with them?
We've tried, but they say that they give a report.
Come into the annual meeting.
Yeah,
So encourage councillors to go to the SNAP meeting because that's when we can actually communicate directly with them about problems in our own areas. So that's a good
So
thing.
who turns up from the police at the SNAP meeting?
It's Paula and Justin.
The local beat officers.
I mean, that will be,
Yeah.
Talk directly to them if you've got any concerns. So there is that communication dialogue.
is that for the whole of this area, was it?
It's for Brecon North. Yeah. So I'll tell you who it is, right? So it's Narborough, Ash Hill, Necton, Home Hale, Spall, Beach and Well, Drymere, North and South Pickenham, Hillborough, Great and Little Cressingham, South Acre, Threxiton and Swaffham as being the main hub. So, and they're held in rotation.
But anybody can go to them. And they do give a report of on ongoing crimes and that is.
Yeah, well, my point is if they're down here to be here,
Yeah.
They should take them off.
Yeah.
Used to take.
I think the one time we did have somebody come along, but I think that's a thing of the past, isn't it?
Is there someone from the town council ask?
We always ask.
You answer.
Yeah, we always
Do you get a
email.
reply?
Never.
Just say the
What?
date of the next
Yeah.
meeting for anybody that's interested in
Never.
that one. It's Friday, the 25th of July, and that's at 7 o'clock, which they're always at 7 o'clock. And this one is at Necton Community Centre, so that's not, but those are worth going to, Bobby.
Yeah. I don't know if it is.
I've got trouble with my emails. They keep deleting themselves.
Right. The mayor's report. That's me, yeah.
Well done, you've got the hang of that.
Right, I've done quite a few things this month, so on the 14th of March is my reception, and thanks to all the staff and everybody that helped put that together, and I think they did a really good job, and thanks to all the staff. I did thank you on the night, but thanks once again to everything you've done, and I think it went really well. I had nothing but compliments from it, and those that did go from the council, I think everybody had a good time, and they had a nice bit of cheesecake, some fish and chips. Yeah. On the 18th, I went to Ashfield. What was that?
That was so fun.
Oh, yes, the meeting about it, yes. Sorry, I wrote it down, I can't read it. The actual solar farm meeting, which with the representative from a lot of the villages, they are forming groups together, and they're looking at things, what they can do to really sort of start pressing against it. So there's a lot of opposition out there to these solar farms. So I think we should be part of it. I've been attending as many as I can, and it'd be good to see other councils perhaps pushing it as well. The 19th, we had the workshop in the assembly before we looked at the old build. Les was there. I don't know if anybody was. I don't think anybody else was there, but they went through the different ways of protecting and how to not, to do the repairs to build it in a way that's not detrimental to them or makes them worse in the long run. So there's awful lot of information there, and obviously they showed around the town some of the buildings that we've got here, and obviously the assembly rooms was a sort of a showcase for things that can be done. I went to down the markets and with Winard's Day with the horse fair, and that was brilliant. And they had little tiny horses. I don't know what you call them.
Donkeys.
Donkeys, but or whatever it is. Well, anyway, yeah, they were very small. Anyway, we on the 24th, I went to the new vicar inauguration at the church, which is very good. That's Nigel Tufnell. He's a very nice man, and he's very, and I think he's going to be very good and for the town. And please go and meet him if you can. I think he'll be pleased to see you. And on the 31st, I went to the film premiere, Your Town, My Town, Our Town, and I got the leaflet there. And they're going to be doing a workshop for the youngsters in, get the date now, it's on here somewhere.
Got markets of May.
There's some more there anyway, but there's a date coming up for the youngsters to go and participate in that. On the 5th, actually, April, down the market mayor's at home. That was quite nice, and there was a nice evening there. And on Saturday, I attended the Swaffham Museum's War Room opening, which is very good. And if you haven't been to see it, it's well worth going to have a look at. And it's really good, and it's a lot of information there. You need a couple of visits really to take all the information in, but please go and have a look at it. It's well worth it. Thank you. That's it for me.
You've been busy.
Very busy this month. Very busy this month, yeah. So we go to the town clerk's update.
So yeah, Nicola and I attended the Your Town, Our Town, which was it was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. We've got our internal auditor booked for the 14th of April. The year end has been done. So that will be completed next Monday. We won't have the report for finance meeting, unfortunately, so I won't be able to get it in April, which is a shame. But we have to get it in by July, so we should be good. We met with a couple of people after the Your Town, Our Town. We spoke to a couple of youth, and we've got a youth council workshop booked for May half term. We had a couple of chaps come in today with their parents, and they're very keen to get this started. So we're going to run a workshop in the town hall for a couple of hours to see if we can get this moving. And they're going to have a Teams call with the Ricky Youth Council, who've been running for 20 years.
Any questions for the council?
Graham,
Will the town councils be advised of this so they can turn up if they wish?
For the youth council, do you need to?
Yes.
It's the youth council to
Yes,
begin with.
very much so.
I admit, I was.
Yeah, we've got an interest in you. You know that. I've been thinking about it for about 6 months. So I'd like to be invited if
Okay, anything else? No, so we'll move on then. To receive and consider any late or urgent items. I haven't got anything. Have you got anything, Helen?
No.
No, so there's nothing on that. To discuss and consider correspondence received. I think we've always seen everything.
I can't go.
Anything else on that, Helen?
No.
No. 14's got good then. So consider nominations for following committees due to resignation of a councillor or councillors in some cases. We'll do them one at a time. Open space and assets. We need one more councillor to go on there. No, it's only probably for the next until we do the main one in the May. But we need to sort of fill the so we are at these meetings. So we need somebody that isn't on assets and open spaces to put their hand up. Bob, I'm not going to.
Get in there, Bob.
I'm looking at the planning.
Yeah, well, you can be on more than one.
You
can be on more than one.
I don't want to do too many. I just want to.
Yeah, no, okay, that's fair enough. Would anybody else?
Yes, I don't mind going.
Jill, thank you. Planning. So Bob wants to put his name in the hat. Is there anybody else that's not on planning already would like to put their name in the hat? Sorry?
It's the lady who's got a bag.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
Just say, I can't do daytime.
Yeah,
It's
so
fine.
we'll put Bob, this is something we can consider timing and meetings of that when we come to the annual meeting. So Bob, are you happy to go on plan? Yeah. And we'll leave one vacancy at the moment, but we'll sort that out later on.
Jill, do you want to do planning?
Pardon?
Do you want to do planning?
No.
No.
Okay.
Market,
David.
Market and Tourism Committee, Dave would like to go on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else?
I think I'm all. Excellent.
HR and governance, this is the HR and governance committee. We need one more councillor to replace
I nominate Jill.
Jill.
Second.
Well, is there
Well,
anybody else wants to put their name in the hat? We have to have a vote. No, so go straight for Jill
Does
then.
everyone agree to all those nominations?
Sorry, yeah, I was going to do them all at the end, just
You've just got one seat left for planning.
Yeah, which we can
Yeah.
probably do when we fill the vacancy in May.
everybody happy? Yeah, all those happy, please show just to make it be sure that you're happy with it.
When?
Second page, so we're getting through it. Consider quotes for the barn repairs. Obviously, Wendy's declared an interest. Is there anybody else that would like to declare an interest?
Yeah, we did, because I typed the thing for him.
Yeah, you declare an interest, Karen.
Well, only in as much as I typed it, because he helped.
Well, there's a connection there, so.
Well, yes, there
it's
is.
squeaky clean.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's my interest.
Yeah, okay. Right, so I'll come on to you to.
Well, I think Graham West had given you a bit more detail,
Yeah.
so it was just up to you to look at your
We've seen, you've seen all the quotes. Is there anybody got anything to say on them at all?
It's incomparable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, all comparable now.
John. Yeah, I thought they were, well, it was hard to judge because we asked them to put them all on a comparable decade and they didn't.
No, I think it's a bit more,
And I know Graham has said they all seem the same, but you know, we're still comparing apples and pears, aren't we?
If you don't know what you're looking at, you're in the middle.
Yeah.
but we need to move forward with this.
Anything
Hang
comes
around.
up.
Does anybody want to make the recommendations to accept any of the quotes?
First one.
Yeah.
First one?
No, that's far too low. I
It's the same work. then.
See, we've got three, haven't we? The
Yes,
different.
The latest one, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about these companies?
Yeah. Well, they're all fairly well known, aren't they?
We have, yeah, I think they've all been used before. Yeah.
I can't speak for Wendy's relation. I mean, Bain is a good roofer. That's all I can say for that. I'm not pushing him.
Now I know, I mean, I'll obviously back the nephew because my husband trained him and he was the best.
Of course. All we're saying, Wendy, is that they're both people who can know how to do the job.
Yes.
I think they're all three are capable.
Well, VP and a Hooge, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're clearly capable of doing the job.
So it's just a case of picking which one.
Choose which one you want.
Lindsay,
Can I just say, the DJ Benzie one, I think was excluding VAT.
Yes.
Yeah, 20% onto that.
No, because he doesn't charge VAT.
Oh, he doesn't charge.
No,
us
he's
at all.
not
Oh,
registered.
He's not. So
Not
'cause that may
registered.
bring.
So that's the price we pay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
price you'll pay.
So can we just have the first three figures, final figure?
John Wednesday.
Talking about.
DJ Benzie was 9,415.25p with no VAT requirement. RT Bain was 13,750, and that includes VAT. And VPH Roofing, again, that's exclusive of VAT. I think that was £14,048.85.
So the Baines will be less because we obviously claim the VAT back.
Right.
So 13,000 minus 20%, you can minus that.
Oh, what's that?
so really, they're all of the matchness, aren't they, really?
Last one, first two, and last one.
Yeah.
Anybody would like to make a recommendation or yes?
Well, at the end of the day, we've got to make that building waterproof and secure for the foreseeable future. But on the other hand, we don't need to throw money at it if that,
No.
if the cheapest quote is one that we can live with.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I
Do
would
you want to make that a proposal?
recommend we accept the lot.
Would somebody like to, what Lindsay seconded it? Any other proposals before we put it to the vote? No? All those in favour accepting the
Please just get it done.
cheapest one or the motion?
Yeah, just get it done.
Yeah.
This is going to drag on in.
Yeah, so that's unanimous then.
Well, you know, so we can't vote.
Yeah, well, you can't vote, but unanimous with those that can vote.
If you could have done, you did it.
Well,
Okay, but that'll carry on and go on.
No, I'll keep out of it.
So we'll get moving on that and get that, please get that done.
Yeah, because
Just
it's
get
not
it
going to
moving.
carry on going.
The next one is consider request from Councillor Ellerbeck to be an advocate for disabled people in Swaffham. I'll hand over to Caroline to explain what she's.
As a registered disabled resident of Swaffham, I would like to become an advocate for other such people. I would like to look at facilities and amenities, access, parking, toilets, facilities. This will show Swaffham disabled people that we are, as a council, have everyone's well-being at heart. And being in a wheelchair, I cannot get through to the shops because there's no ramps and everyone puts everything so close together. So, and cars on pavements, I can't get through.
Yes.
So there is a big problem with that.
Did you want to say something, Steph?
No, I'm just saying, obviously, where Caroline can't get in shops or wheelchairs can't get in shops, that's down to the that building,
but I
is it? It's not down to the council.
Yeah, but I need to make the awareness to Swaffham, basically.
I think mainly most
businesses are aware of entrance and
So-
exits from buildings for disabled people and that. aren't
Quite
they?
a lot of regulations and that they have
100%.
to abide by.
That's in their
So-
thing anyway, isn't it?
But
So
Disability Act.
The way I look at it is if Caroline wants to do that, and you know, obviously we haven't got any money to throw at it at the moment. But if she wants to do that and you know make us aware of things, I've got no objections to it. I don't know if anybody else would.
No.
That's why I see it, if you just sort of advise us, be an advisory on that side of things. And,
Costs no money.
well, you know, at the moment, but
We agree.
Yeah, great.
thank you.
yeah, everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Norfolk Association of Local Councils to nominate one or more councillors to become the board member.
What does that entail, Paul, please, quickly?
It's going on the board now and really sort of all the councils around the district. Yeah, you was more connected with it as well. wasn't
Happens used to do
you?
it
Used to
here,
do it, yeah.
and they have like annual meetings and they
Advisory.
advisory roles. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I did say I wouldn't mind doing it but if anybody else wants, I
You
mean,
can have more than one, can't you?
well, you
Yeah.
put forward to
Yeah, you put
go
forward and
pulled
then they-
forward and then it's voted on by the whole of the county. So
Association.
so when you've got on, it's a different matter. It's just a case of going on the candidates list, really. That's it.
You do it, Paul, if you think you.
I
You
wouldn't mind
like
going
to
on
do
to strike by it. In fact, I wouldn't stand in anybody else's way.
Oh, propose Paul.
Okay.
Everybody happy with that?
Who's second?
Yeah.
Who's your second?
Can I abstain, like Paul always does when there's a vote?
I don't. Okay.
No.
Right, we're now going on to the financial. Yeah, no, we're not. No, we're not. We've jumped a couple. You wish.
So for appointed representatives, then general meeting
General meeting, yeah.
be the same person. Can be.
Yeah, there you are.
I'm a Norfolk KLC, so you.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Again.
I propose Paul.
Yeah.
Paul.
You're second. David. David second.
I usually attend them anyway, so
So-
I can.
Do you second while you're there?
Consider the quote for the small truck and the purchase of the urban NI electric vehicle. Right, you've all seen all the emails going around that it's been tried by the staff and they think it'll do the job. It's over to you. Comments, Graham,
Can
first.
someone please tell me precisely when this vehicle went out, when the staff went in it? Because I go past there every morning at about 10:30, 11.
After the assets meeting, it was insured, which will.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's insured for a week. So it started being used from last Thursday. And then Ian used it on the market.
He didn't.
Yes, he did.
I saw him on the market on Saturday.
No,
He was
a
at the
week
other one.
gone. So it's
Right,
after the
okay.
assets. So we
Apologies, yeah.
insured it for a week,
Yeah, okay.
which was Thursday to the
Yeah.
following Wednesday. So Ian used it for the market on the Saturday. We did grave, when we had a couple of grave burials, Leanne took it down there. I've taken it out. It's been down the allotments. So every staff member had a ride in it as such and used it.
Because I haven't been out this week.
No, because it's not insured now.
Okay.
It stopped being used on Wednesday. It was insured until,
This Wednesday, just.
no, it was insured until Tuesday. So we took it on Monday. And then that was it.
So you stalking it?
Yeah, I was watching because I want to see where it went out. Anyway, it's by the by.
That's not the actual one we're looking at buying. That's just a demonstration.
It's just a demo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the other thing is, the big thing for me was how awfully lightweight and flimsy it is with paneling that's basically like a big greenhouse. Now, I could just picture that being hit by a car doing 30 miles an hour. That would destroy it. Now, I asked the question if that vehicle has a proper roadworthiness approval for collisions and accidents and its ability to withstand it.
Well, it was insured by the insurance company. They researched it. They know the vehicle. So it's just like a normal vehicle.
No, that's
It's got DVLA and the registration is in there. It's registered with DVLA.
No, that's not my point. My point is, do we know that that vehicle is suitable to survive an accident? Because there is a risk assessment associated with that. If there's a risk to the staff and that vehicle was wiped out, that would be no good saying, well, we got insurance on it. You need to see that that is appropriate for that use. I mean, the other vehicles you've got are clearly substantial welded metal frames and such like. That thing isn't. And when you Google it, you will see that that's actually sold together with another collection of golf carts. It's intended to be used on a golf course. That's that to me is completely.
We've been doing, and this other council have got exactly the same vehicle out on the road, haven't they?
Yeah, we have spoken to the council.
Two wrongs don't make a right, does it?
No, I'm not saying it does, but I'm just making a statement. Caroline.
I was going to say, if the appropriate speed limits are kept in the town, I can't see how there'd be a problem with it.
Well, thank
They're
God.
not though, are they?
Thank goodness.
No, they need to be. They need to be resolved.
Yeah, but that will never happen.
It
doesn't
doesn't
happen.
stop somebody hitting your car.
No, it doesn't. It won't happen, will it?
Anyway,
Anybody else want to make a comment or anything? No? Anybody would like to make a proposal then?
I suppose we forget it.
So we need to do something though, Graham. We've got to,
No, then we can get the little one. We can take that and get that. You've had the quote for that. I think it was 800 and something. Get that fixed.
But we keep hearing about this vehicle, this small vehicle. Just to recap on that. Last year, we were told that it was deadly, that stunk of petrol and all the rest of it. But when it went through an MOT test, it passed with no problem at all, apart from the fuel line. And my question was, how on earth can people drive a vehicle stinking of fuel without doing something about it? And after I complained at that meeting about this being allowed to happen, you introduced a system where they have to sign for the vehicle and accept it before they take it out. My question would be, why wasn't that in place previously until this problem arose? So it was fixed with its MOT plus a fuel line. It got its MOT for a year.
well, I think there's two questions here.
No, I
Dave,
haven't finished, Paul. I'm finished. The next thing is we're told it's now going to cost £850. That's for a catalytic converter. The vehicle is 13 years old. So I had to have a catalytic converter on a car that was 4 years old. This vehicle, this electric one we're now talking about, the cost of replacing the battery, I understand, is £4,500. Well, that's got to dwarf the cost for that little vehicle.
I don't know that.
Well, that was in the report that you should have read. But all I'm getting at is that I believe we're opening up a can of worms buying this thing, and I really do believe that we're going to regret it. And I think if councillors vote for this, they're mad, quite frankly. But that's me finished. I got nothing else to say.
David.
So it's a small truck that needs a repair of £800 or whatever it is to get it roadworthy, get some more mileage out of it, a few more years, and do that. That's the sensible option. This buggy thing is.
Where's the charge facility for the vehicle?
The 3-pin plug.
What, what software you mean? It costs you a lot of money per kilowatt.
It lasts us for 7 days.
Yeah, but
Last you can-
35p per kilowatt.
Excuse me, that lasts for 30 miles.
If you had an EV charger, that'd be nine pence, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah,
Nine
but
pence a
ignoring that. I mean, it's only going to do 30 miles on a charge. It's just ridiculous. But there you go, it's up to you.
Well, unless there's any other question, I think it's two questions here. I think, right, saying, A, do we want to purchase one of these trucks is the first question. And then B, what do we do with the old truck? So the first question is to vote on, do we purchase one of those trucks? Can you vote? Oh,
Do yes first, Paul, and no second.
all right, yes. Those saying yes to it. Those saying no. Well, that's unanimous. So that's
Sorry for that.
unanimous anyway. So that's that one. So that's off the cards then.
Yeah.
So we need to do something to get the other one up into a proper state of use.
Can I come in again?
Yeah.
That needs a catalytic converter. Pay the 850 quid and that'll probably last another 12 years. That's my proposal.
Are you proposing that? Second,
Yeah, I'll propose it.
seconded, David? Those in favour of getting whatever's needed done
Yes.
to the old truck, I think that's.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And environmentally friendly.
Okay, at least we know where we're going with it. Yeah. To discuss LYM duck project and consider town council contribution. Who wants to lead on this
So
one?
this went to, so this went to assets, and they agreed to go forward with the duck project. When we spoke to Brackland, they then said, yes, you know, you've got your funding, but we want you to have the big duck and not the small duck, which has got a cost. So yeah, that was great. So, Nicola, what was the contribution?
£2,000. Is 2,250.
So what you have to put £250 towards the duck.
And then on top of that, it's obviously someone to paint it.
So to paint it. So do we want to move forward or do we just want to?
No, forget it.
No.
It's an embarrassment, quite frankly, in this house.
No.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Hang on, one at a time.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on. You go.
We've got £2,000 from Brackland.
Yes.
And how much more do we have to find?
So no,
Sorry.
250 just.
250 plus a bit for the event itself.
Then we were going to look, and I was discussing with local, looking at sponsorship
Yeah.
for it. But then I was looking at local artists, and I've been liaising with local artists in the area who were really excited about the project and getting one of them to paint it. But then you're looking at about £1,000 painting.
Oh, there's
just a bit-
way we could get sponsorship for that.
Well, that's the other option. But if you don't get the sponsorship, you're left with a bill.
But in terms of promotion of Swaffham as a tourist destination, and we have got the days, whether you like them.
It's quite.
They are a unique selling point, and I think we'd be mad not to exploit them, to be honest.
David.
I agree with Nick's point about making Britain more about tourism, which seems to be ignored greatly in this town so far. But the other cost with the duck will be sighting the duck.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get kicked out the camping lands when we've had enough of it. And more moving it, resighting it.
Down the road.
And also, and what design is it going to be? I saw a
Well, that
picture
would be
on
up
the
to you.
internet.
That was
and it
just a picture of
absolutely awful.
That was just a picture of what the duck structure looks like.
There's a- in-
Working with local artists, we were going to put out to the community what they like to see painted on it.
I was looking at like, obviously we've had hassle down at Orford Road, haven't we, Plainfield, with them decapitating all the rides and everything. And I'm sorry, but this is what's going to happen to this duck with that. You can see it coming, can't you? Unless you've got 24/7 security, that will be wrecked. So, no.
Well, I don't think that we should be looking at it that way. I think we should be trying to look at it in a positive direction, something that's positive for them, something that's going to make the newspapers possibly, and actually raise this.
Move on to it as well. You could do a as a tourist attraction.
It works really well. They have one every year, don't they? They have the dragons and they have the elephants and they have the hens.
But I'm not right in saying we don't have to have a duck. It could be something else.
No.
Duck is definitely a duck. You know?
So the rest of the structures could be something different.
So, Nicholas, so then if it does get wrecked, which Swaffham is going to happen, who's down to? It's not Lindsay. It is. I know,
that, but I don't think we should let that stop.
No, I know, but everybody wrecks everything in the town. This is why we're like we are.
So therefore,
it's going to exactly. No,
We're
it's just the
talking
case.
about each other.
Anyhow, so if this gets destroyed, are we down to pay for the repairs to it?
We'd be insured. We'd be insured as
Yeah, I know. I get it,
Yes.
but you know,
Caroline, and then.
I am in talks with Helen at the moment about doing neighbourhood watch around the town, which should calm down the vandalism, I believe. It does.
I'd just say something about that as well. There is a. That's one.
yeah, there's that Caroline spoke to, yeah. Between that, the market meeting before Christmas, when we had the last local market.
Appreciate that.
Brown.
this is what happened. So it was Phoebe who, when we get Love Your Market funding, she had to bring so many funds, ideas to Breckland. And she came up with this one, and it was a tourism and sculpture tale to bring your tourism into the town. And this was what the market agreed, you know.
Does anybody else want to comment, David, and then Liz, and then we cupcake?
What material is it made out of? Fiberglass. So I assume it's going to be, and what size is it going to be?
5 foot.
And where's it going to be sold?
Yeah, that's the thing, so we could decided anywhere to move around town, there isn't an end location for it, except Hampton Land, which it can mainly be there. But if we have events, things we can bring it out into.
Surely it needs to be fixed to the ground, but was it going to be?
Could it go in Buttercross?
With concrete base.
So finally, the pyramid that was installed, I don't think that's up to any as far as I know. So, but we can't let landlords stop us. Specifically got that.
Yes.
There's a wide,
Sculpture tile doesn't have to be a duck. This is a duck.
so that first idea was a duck. And then to try and make it more for the town, I thought of a sculpture trail of then other animals, a hare, sheep, things then go around town.
I've got Jill.
Yes, can you tell me how the duck came into significance, please? Because we used to have a council that was against the ducks, and they were, you know, killing them.
It was.
What Swaffham's known of, I think it came from the market, some ideas, and they liked the duck. Back in October.
I mean, I'm just finding it better than bouncing, actually.
Yes.
I'm going to try and draw this to a close anyway.
Okay, do we need to vote on it then, Paul?
Yeah, I've got, John wants to say something.
No, I said we got to put it to a question now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Okay,
not going any further.
well, the question is, do we want to go with the duck or not? Really, that's.
The question is yes or no.
Yeah, once we say no, that's fine, but we won't be able to apply for that. That's finished.
That grant is gone.
Yeah, we'll start again.
Go on. Yes, first then.
Right, so those that don't want the duck, please show.
Yeah.
Of whatever way you want. So there's 5. Those that want the duck.
3, 4.
4. So there's
No duck. No duck.
Gabe's abstaining.
No duck.
No duck.
no duck.
I'll for that.
We're sports, aren't we?
Let's move on to it.
I don't think it's a case where it's
Right. The day, instead of the E-Day celebration.
So why we brought this back is we didn't get the funding we were hoping to get for the fish and chip supper. So, you know, in February, we agreed to do the same as we did last year, which was music on the Buttercross, fish and chips on the car park, subsidised with a grant. We'd met with RBL and the culture consultant who didn't want to work with us. They want to do their own thing, which is fine. So we'll do the proclamation in the morning, beacon lighting. We've got a service at the War Memorial with RBL. And the same as what we did last year for D-Day, fish and chips on the market, subsidised by the council. But unfortunately, we didn't get our grant.
RBL didn't get it.
RBL didn't get a grant either, can you believe? So we have to bring it back to see what we want to do next.
So what we're talking roughly about 500, wasn't it? You're looking at.
Sorry.
Sorry, good.
No, go on. Come on.
No,
Wow, question. How many councillors were involved in these discussions about what was going to happen on VE Day? Because us 3 at least said we wanted to be involved in the decision making, and it seems that we were excluded again.
No, it was at full council in February.
No, I'm talking about the day-to-day meetings, the informal
We haven't
meetings.
had any, weren't
You've had a meeting with British Legion.
Yeah, we spoke to the RBL and
No.
the consortium, and they said we're doing our own thing.
Well, so why weren't there meetings with councillors to discuss what we would like?
Because I went to the RBL president and
Yes.
said, do we want, and he said no.
Okay, well then why didn't you come to councillors and ask us to be involved?
But for what? There wasn't anything to do.
Well, you know, talking about you're going to have this and you've got certain events.
No, we didn't. Then we took it to council in February and said, this is what the pageant master has suggested, and council agreed to it.
I read it, but very little of it is actually being done. And so my question still comes back, why has this been done without consultation with the
It
councillors?
wasn't, Graham. It went to the February.
No,
council
I read the
meeting.
minutes. I read the minutes. But I do not believe that were you consulted? Because I personally, we didn't have a meeting with you informally to run through all this.
But there wasn't a meeting to
Okay.
run through.
So is that we were excluded then?
Excluded. It was you asked us to speak to RBL, which I did, and
Yes.
said we don't want to do anything with you.
Fine, but then
So what do I need? So we came to full council and then it was agreed.
No, but we've said many times since the Remembrance Service that we wanted to have an input in what happened. We've said this on many occasions, and we haven't been consulted about what should happen. Well, yes, it was raised at a meeting, but if you read the papers for the meeting and the minutes, all it said was very, very brief. There'll be fish and chips, I think, or something like that. No, I don't accept that we've been involved enough in this. That's my view.
Steph and then Jill.
Okay, so obviously I'm quite passionate about the VE Day
Yes, well, no.
celebrations. Obviously, David spoke many times about the flags, how many flag holders we've got around the town, and obviously on the lamppost we've got those two things where we can slot things in to advertise things, can't we? I don't know if they're down to us. Yeah. Anyhow, so I'm proposing that we do get a working group together. We're very limited on time. I think what Jen Mander said, we need to join forces with her and what she's already got planned-ish, not final cut yet, Jen, is it? I think as a council, if we could have a few members to join on board with Jen and get something done so that when people come to us and ask us what's going on and putting things over social and you're like, well, nothing, we don't know anything yet, what's actually happening. And then we get told that we're waiting to see what Breckland do first before we can do something. So I think I'd like to propose, a working group to join forces with Jen Mander.
Yes.
And get something done for these celebrations, which is 80 years and which is thoroughly deserved for the people who gave their lives for us.
Yeah.
I can't see why we wouldn't want to.
No, I can't.
100%.
Jill.
Yes, can you tell me why the RBL don't want to be involved with us?
They're doing something with the consortium. They're doing their own.
They've got a wall or something on the day before, haven't they?
Yes.
So they don't want to join us at all?
No. Last year we joined forces and had a.
Yes.
They wanted to do their own thing this time. They wanted to join in with the fish and chip supper. Jonathan wants to come along and do the vegan lighting and everything.
That's
Well,
it.
that's Sue was here. Can you explain if she's prepared to, why they decided not to?
I really know nothing about it.
There we are.
So I'm sorry.
Here we go again.
Well, it's not quite that simple.
No.
What I understood that was there were things, there was something happening that we could have done some, put some exhibition on, but it was agreed that people that wouldn't be interesting at that particular time.
I've got it, David. Sorry, yeah, David.
Jesus.
Well, I suggest that whatever fish and chips and bits, we put the money in for that, get that sorted, reignite the torchlighting and what you were talking about, and get Jen involved, sit in one room. And
She's
get it all
got
one thing.
good
She's got
views. She's got brilliant views. But she'd be well to, but we need to now get.
Councillors need to make a working group.
Okay, so can we now put an hands raised on who wants to join the working group as councillors to join Jen Mander? Can we do that, please?
Yeah.
So, and actually, you're going to be involved and actually do stuff and just say you're not going to and then don't do it. That actually want to be anybody So can we have a raised hand who wants to be involved?
So the first thing is, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody on that side want to join this group? No?
Unfortunately, I'm
No,
not.
no. So we're Southern Working Group with 5 councillors.
Yep, along with
And-
Mander.
Can we have the budget? We had £500 in the budget. Is you can stick to that or do you want more?
Well, we'll have.
Are we eligible to get more?
No. Well, no, you as a council need to decide that.
Can I just ask, please, is the marketplace going to be closed on that day?
It was going to be.